Throughout our lives at school, work, and home, we are told we can't use certain words. But why? Is there a reason they're frowned upon? Who says we can't say certain words? Right now, we're going to embark on a journey and ask the philosophical question, what is swearing and is it wrong? Okay.
I'm a life leader. Editing. You're both life leaders. Hold on.
They cheapen. They're a cop-out. You can find different ways, though. You can find different ways to
Yeah, different outlets.
It's like an instinct, I guess.
Right.
I wouldn't do that. It's kind of like disrespectful.
Yeah, it is. So would you say?
It's a ping word. You hear it?
Right.
Yeah, you know around it. It's serious.
Everybody knows there's something off of that.
Some people only understand those kind of languages. Yeah. You have sometimes.
And more of a like a habit now.
We're going to look at two different perspectives on swearing. The first being the strictly societal one, where no deity is involved, and the second being the Christian perspective, where the God of the Bible is in the picture. Let's take a look at what society has to say about swearing.
What is swearing? When is swearing wrong? And why can we say it's wrong? If a group of people are swearing, is it okay? If somebody says swearing is okay, does that make it okay? Why would it be or why wouldn't it be okay?
I just see it as words. I don't know.
Words? Like,
yeah.
Okay, so do you swear?
Sometimes, yes.
No, you don't swear at all? Okay, how come you don't swear?
I feel bad. I don't know. It's just not.
You don't like the feeling of it?
No.
Like, would you say it's wrong?
It depends on the person, I guess. I don't necessarily think it's wrong. Yeah,
like you wouldn't
socially
swear.
Acceptable, where it's socially acceptable.
So like you wouldn't swear in front of your parents or anything like that.
I would
that would
never,
be, yeah, me neither. I agree with you.
I wouldn't do that. It's kind of like disrespectful.
Yeah, it is.
But
Okay.
there's also sometimes that in the law enforcement world, because I was in law enforcement for 14 years prior to here, some people only understand those kind of languages, and you have sometimes you have to speak cop and tell someone to sit be forceful and be down.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I don't use it in my house, and I don't use it anywhere else. But at work, I'll use it at work just to get points across. Because like I said, sometimes that's all people understand.
Like cuss words?
Right.
I think that's
An exertion of emotion.
Yeah, I think it's like a lack of not knowing what to say.
So you
at
kinda
the moment,
like a replacement word?
Yeah,
you would say.
replacement words. Yeah.
Okay.
Almost like an instinct, I guess.
Right. Okay, so do you guys swear?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so how come you guys swear?
Why?
Yeah, why do you guys swear?
Like I said, instinct or reaction.
Right. Okay.
I think it's more of a like a habit now. You know.
It's kind of become part of your language.
Yeah, I have a son as well, so I'm really trying to I have to really catch
kind of
myself.
watch what you're saying
and I
around
catch
him.
myself a
Right.
lot cussing.
Okay.
When I should.
I don't know. I guess my view on it is I kind of put it there with fighting.
Kind of like fighting words.
Everything has a good and a bad to it. You know what I mean? But
yeah, there's the aggression, like cussing, like
me, I'm a
words,
lover,
you know?
not a fighter. But when it comes down to it, fighting gets aggression out. Like I played football my whole life, so it's like getting out there and fighting in general is bad. Like you shouldn't go out there and fight your fellow man. But
I think that it's not wrong to cuss. I don't. I think once you get a little bit older, like your parents say, when you get a little bit older, you can talk the way you want to talk. But some people take it out of control, you know.
Like it's overused.
Yeah, way overused.
Say it in every sentence.
Yeah,
I think that's also
Sometimes it makes you feel better though.
Okay.
Scream out a cuss word out.
Wow, it looks like everyone agrees on what swearing is, but they're torn between whether it's wrong or not. We're going to continue to look at swearing from a societal perspective. Let's take a look at what a few others have to say.
That's a question, where do we go from here? We have all this information, all these things, we've interviewed people, we've taken our opinions, but I kind of thought about it and I feel like these words are necessary because, we have these group of words, these are swear words, these are bad, we don't use them. Without them, how do we know what's good? How do we know what's, we need to have a balance. you know, you gotta have your good and you have to have your evil. You don't know what's bad if you don't have your good, you know, and vice versa. So I feel like they're necessary, you know, I don't think they're necessary to be used, but we need to know the knowledge of these words. We need to know that they're there. We can't just say, oh, those words don't exist. You know, they have to be there. We have to know what they are. And I just feel like it creates balance to any society, any language.
What should we do about it?
We should keep them there. Just how do I say, what's the word I'm looking for? Be aware. Be aware that they're there.
What is swearing?
Swearing is a relative term used for a specific type of language. A broader category of language is actually called profanity. It's a very interesting phenomenon with the audience, how they receive it too. And it's very culturally and linguistically oriented. What is a curse word in American English may not necessarily be a curse word in British English, and the reverse too. If you were to say here, he's a fag, you're referring to a homosexual person. Right? If you were saying that's a fag in the UK, you're talking about a cigarette. Right and wrong are cultural norms. It's all culturally derived. So what is, and also profanity, swearing is a cultural identifier in many cases. Mm-hmm. With certain people, you use certain types of language. It's the linguistic phenomenon known as style shifting or code switching, to bring this into certain audiences. So with the appropriate audience, usually more familiar people, you're going to be more likely to use profanity or swearing language. Well, actually, if you were to use it every day, it would slip into common usage and very likely not be considered profanity any longer. Because we can take other words that used to be considered very detrimental, and we even talked about this, the word dip. Is there anything offensive about that word? Yet to an older generation, that's an offensive term. Saying crap, that's offensive. No, you say poo. You know, even the clinical term urine, you can't say that. You make water. So there's generational issues involved too, how each generation defines what is profanity.
If it infringes on someone or offends someone with the group you're in, then it could be coined in society as wrong. However, swearing is not so much defined as the word itself being wrong, but more so the attitude and the way it's being presented in the certain situation. Every society is going to have words that they think convey negative emotion. As a whole, there's no way of proving if swearing is wrong or not, because ultimately it's relative to society and each different person and how they interpret swearing. However, it seems to me like inside of each person, everybody knows there's something off about it. We can't necessarily say it's wrong because there's no way of proving that it's not beneficial to society. The only thing we can say is that everyone seems to know that there's something off about it, because if they won't say it in front of children, why is it not wrong?
Now that we've seen what swearing is from a societal perspective, let's take a look and see what swearing is from a Christian perspective.
What is swearing?
I think it's...
You go first.
Okay. I think it's when you have, like, negative attitude or negative energy behind what you're saying to somebody. And it's very harsh.
And maybe
other times you just sound
incorrect.
ignorant.
Maybe politically incorrect, but isn't acceptable.
Okay, so
in a certain environment.
Do you guys swear?
Shouldn't.
Well, it's okay.
No.
I mean,
no.
you shouldn't, but do you?
Sometimes, yeah.
I think yes. It's
yeah,
I do.
Okay, so do you guys think it's wrong?
Yeah, I do.
do.
I think that no corrupt language should come out of our mouth, except that is edifying to other people and that imparts grace to its hearers.
So you would agree that as a society, it's not beneficial. Like, it's not going to benefit you.
No.
At all in any situation that you're in.
No. I mean, I think that some circumstances it's more appropriate.
Like, it's okay. Like, if you're with your friends.
It's more appropriate. No, I don't really think it's okay. But there are places where it's like more acceptable.
Okay.
I don't think that there's a need for it at all. I think that you can use other words, and we just don't think about it enough to try to put a different word in there to give the same emphasis to a sentence.
So you would say that replacing the word like F with something else, it's not as foul or abusive as if you were doing it?
I think, because I know oftentimes people will be like, oh, that's effed up. They don't actually say it, but you still have the same intention behind it, so
okay.
you're still
I
doing
agree.
the exact same thing.
God's not legalistic. I don't know.
So is it really the word itself that's the issue, or
No,
what's?
I think it's the attitude behind it.
It's the heart.
So how it's said and why you're saying it?
I guess so.
Okay.
Let's be honest. I don't know.
So people say it's a universal adjective. Yeah, I disagree. No, I think that swearing is, well, to me, it's always been offensive, and especially in a Christian university. And we are, as public safety officers, if we hear somebody doing that, we know that it's not right and it's not acceptable on this campus. And I'm a Christian. It's not acceptable in my family or my surroundings. So I think swearing, to answer your question, is. And you said it sounds illiterate, or it sounds like they're just filling words, but I just think it's offensive.
So like it doesn't really sound professional at all?
It doesn't at all.
Right,
No,
okay,
I
yeah, I would agree.
Place for it.
Well, it looks like most people say that swearing themselves is wrong, but also that God would think it's wrong. But why? What provokes that? Let's take a look.
Swearing actually comes from the Latin word profane, which literally means outside of the church or before the temple door. It's language that is not permitted inside of holy or sacred places. It describes nearly every form of rude or taboo language we know today, and also can be seen as language that desecrates. From a religious perspective, having God in the picture, I think we need to try and see it the way God sees it. In Scripture, God does not give us a list of words not to use, but He gives us the boundaries to know what language we should use, to know what's harmful and what's helpful. For example, in Ephesians 4:29, He says, don't use foul or abusive language. Let everything you say be good and helpful, so that your words will be an encouragement to those who hear them. And also in James 3:9-10, with the tongue we praise our Lord and Father, and with it we curse men who have been made in God's likeness. Out of the same mouth come praise and cursing. My brothers, this should not be. See, here God lays a foundation for how we should speak and how we shouldn't speak. After looking at just a few of many verses on one speech, I think we can agree that swearing does not reflect the heart of the God of the Bible. I think 1 Thessalonians 5:11 is a great example when it says, so encourage each other and build each other up just as you're already doing. But see, if this term swearing that we use today can be classified as foul or abusive language that it talks about in Ephesians 4:29, or cursing that it talks about in James 3:9-12, I think we as followers of Christ need to say that swearing is wrong. Because right now, in today's society, these words, God would say they're wrong.
I would say swearing today would be classified as things that are inappropriate. The Bible talks about no crude joking or humor. Yeah, I would say the majority of people are going to say these swear words, that when you say swear words, those are the words that kind of pop in your head. Yeah, those are probably, you can count on being offensive to. We focus on the words themselves instead of the meaning or the heart behind it. Because if we really were concerned more about the meaning behind, or what the damage that it may do to someone, or just the offensive nature that it is and what it would do to them, then we would be more careful, because we wouldn't know necessarily what they would deem as offensive. You could say probably sarcasm. Extreme sarcasm would be offensive. And so would that be deemed as swearing to our culture? Probably not. Would it burden God's heart the same? Probably. Because, you know, if you look in the scriptures, if you look throughout the Bible, there's no list of words that would be considered as swear words. And so, or, hey, these are the jokes that you need to not say, because a joke that we would maybe say, an innocent joke, could offend, if we go back 200 years, 300 years, could it severely offend. So it's, again, it's the It's the heart knowing who you're speaking to, and what's the heart? Why would you want to tell that or say those things? It's like using the word they cheapen, they're a cop-out from real words, using intelligent words to communicate instead of just going into the sewer, you know? I mean, it's like telling a clean joke that's funny is a lot harder than telling a dirty joke that's funny. Dirty jokes are very easy to tell. But to tell a clean joke that's really funny, that gets people laughing, it's usually longer and takes more time to say. But it's better. You know, if you want to get laughs, yeah, you can say swear words. But I would agree with you. I think it's a cop-out.
See, God is concerned about the heart. And out of the overflow of the heart, the mouth speaks, as it says in Luke 6:45. I truly think God is passionately seeking to show us the value of a pure heart because his heart is pure. And he says what comes out of our mouth is a reflection of what's inside. If we're to walk with Christ and live a life that brings him glory and allow his character to shape ours, I think we need to avoid all forms of language that are unwholesome and abusive.
No, we should not use them because, like we said, you know, they're not beneficial. They're not going to help you in pursuing your career, you know, and that's that's the main purpose of why people do things. You know, you want to be successful, you want to have a good family, you know, and in order to have that, you need to have a good career, and to have a good career, you need to have proper language, professional language, and that's what's going to get you somewhere. You know, using those swear words, that profanity within a job interview, that's definitely not beneficial. You know, that person, as much as I don't like that, they're going to judge you off the way you're speaking, and it makes a huge difference.
I think that swearing is not something that we need. We kind of just use it as like a fill in the blanks, and it doesn't need to be used in our society.
I can't help but just always come back to my own personal opinion of what the root of swearing is. I think as a society we've just kind of lost the compassion and respect we have for each other, and we resort to swearing because it's a way to try to offend and hurt people. If we as a society were closer and more compassionate with each other, we wouldn't need to swear because we wouldn't need to convey any negative points or opinions.
So many times with swearing, I personally focus on the word itself rather than focusing on the heart behind it. What is the person intending? What are they meaning? And how the person might be receiving it. And so what I want to encourage you guys to do, and even myself, is to really focus on how the words are being communicated and how the people are receiving them. Do I think swear words are wrong? I think they're wrong because God thinks they're wrong. They're harmful and abusive. But I think I still spend too much time thinking about them and dwelling on the word itself rather than really focusing on the core of the issue, and that's the person behind the words.
Now that you guys have gained all this information about swearing and heard our perspectives on it, what's yours? We hope that this video has helped further define your definition of swearing.
On your mark, get set, here we go. Time to make your future unfold and put aside what's killing your growth. You know what's best for you. So
hey, Professor Byas, I think you're great, and I love this assignment that you have for your students. Way to make them think.
But I missed some of the words.
So, wow.
But also that God will think. But what? Oh man,
that was perfect.